Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's never okay to sleep on the railroad, even if you're an engineer or a conductor. However, if you sleep on the railroad, you could miss signals, including red signals, which could lead to deadly train collisions from 2012, 14, and more. But a collision in Texas is one of the biggest disasters in railroad history. This is the story of the 2016 Panhandle, Texas train collision and disaster 10 years later. On June 28, 2016, BNSF Intermodal QCHISB06-27L was cruising down the main line. The train departed Wellington, Kansas at 2 a.m. The train consisted of 5 locomotives each. Leading was BNSF-944CW 5416, ES44DCs 5553, and 7909. ES44C4 8191, and finally BNSF-944CW 5212, carrying several intermodal cars loaded with containers.
Meanwhile, heading in the opposite direction of an eastbound intermodal train, SLAC LPC 1-26K was passing down after the train departed Amarillo, Texas. The train, consisting of an engineer and conductor who worked for BNSF for years. The train consisted of 3 locomotives, and the locomotives in question were BNSF-9 5162, ES44AC 7838, and BNSF ET44C4 3967, and 2 DPUs in the back of the train, which is BNSF ES44AC 8234 and BNSF ET44C4 3970. Everything is going well, but there's a way for them to pass safely. According to the instructions, the eastbound train had to stop out of siding so the westbound train can pass, so then the eastbound can continue.
As the eastbound train was approaching a signal, the train had passed a yellow signal indicating to prepare to slow down. But instead, the train was speeding instead, and now the train passed a red signal. The crew realized what was going on, and they were shocked to see the westbound train coming. They slammed on the emergency brakes, and he and the conductor bailed out. Well, the others did the same thing, but it was too little and too late to stop in time.
After 8:20 this morning, 2 BNSF freight trains collided head-on. The locomotives driving the 2 trains caught fire, sending these huge plumes of black smoke over Panhandle, Texas, outside of Amarillo. Each freight train had an engineer and a conductor on board. Dan Busing from the Texas Department of Public Safety.
One person was transported by Claude EMS to the Northwest Texas Hospital in Amarillo. We still have 3 people unaccounted for. Unfortunately, we do fear that they may still be trapped in the train at this time.
Investigators say no hazardous material or crude oil was inside any of the cars that derailed. The fire was sparked by the diesel used to fuel the locomotives. BNSF acknowledges this is the type of crash that would be prevented by positive train control if it had been active. That safety technology can automatically stop a train before a collision. The deadline to install it is 2020. Between 200 and 300 nearby residents were told to stay inside because of the smoke. Charlie, BNSF brought in its own firefighters and special foam to fight that fire.
The 2 trains collided at 8:21 a.m. The force of the collision caused several locomotives and several intermodal cars to pile up into each other and beginning to burn. Some of the diesel tanks from the locomotives exploded and started to burn after they collided with the force of the collision. Residents nearby heard a loud crash and immediately called for help. In 2 minutes, fire trucks, ambulances, police arrived at the scene to find out what happened. When they arrived, they were shocked to see what they saw. Twisted metal and debris, freight cars pile up, locomotives damaged, and intermodal containers pile up. The two crew members from the eastbound intermodal train sadly died from the collision because they were killed after the blazes got opted in, while the other crew members from the westbound train survived, but they were seriously injured. The damage estimated from BNSF was estimated almost to be $20.8 million. But everybody was wondering the question, how could a train collision happen like this, and why? Was it sabotage, a bomb, logic failure? What was it? The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB for short, investigates the collision. The NTSB started to talk to the surviving crew members, and the surviving crew members said that they saw the eastbound train coming towards them, but they tried to slam the brakes, but it was too late though, and they bailed out though. So the NTSB is now starting to focus on the eastbound crew members, and they noticed something strange. Before the collision, the eastbound crew didn't got an awareness about that, and they ignored like the yellow signal, then the red signal, and the engineer and the conductor did not focus very well, and also the conductor and the engineer have failed to notify the signals, which led to this collision. So the NTSB determined that the probable cause of the accident was the failure of the eastbound train's crew members for not taking action or not verifying or notifying carefully of the signals, which led to this collision. So the NTSB now made some safety recommendations to the FRA, or the Federal Railroad Administration, like positive train control might prevent it to this accident. In the end, BNSF 5416, 5162, and 5553 were damaged beyond repair and scrap. BNSF 7907 and 73 and ES44C4 8191 was also scrapped, while the other locomotives were repaired and put back into service, and it could continue to operate around as of today. 10 years have passed since this collision. It's more likely that the lessons were learned, so this collision will never be repeated in the future.